As the 2016 rally season begins, the expectation of what lies ahead is tantalising. Epic battles, spine-tingling speed and hard-fought victories all played out over the course of 7 events. As a new rally season dawns, so begins a new era for the Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Championship. The World Rally Car has awarded us plenty of action across the years and will continue to do so. However, the R5 category now represents the series and becomes the point-scoring marker for the championship. The Galway International Rally kicks us off in style with a packed entry filled with R5s and their predecessor, the World Rally Car. An array of talent will fill the stages in the west of Ireland. Are you ready to rally? The winter has been harsh across the region, with severe flooding from the storms that have battered the countryside. The forecast for the weekend doesn't look particularly friendly, but the crews are ready for whatever the heavens throw at them. What is friendly is the welcome that Galway offers to the competing crews and spectators who travel far and wide to be part of an event that delivers great action and atmosphere, even if you have to wear your wellies. Ayr Square in the centre of Galway plays host to the ceremonial start, and for the fans it's time to get a first glimpse of the new cars, the new liveries and check out the form. With number 1 seed Gary Jennings first across the ramp and hoping for a successful weekend ahead.
Galway marks the start of a brand new season with Cara Boyle on board for the very first time. A strong entry makes for fierce competition. Let's take a look at the lineup.
The lineup for Galway is massively impressive. Number 1 seed Gary Jennings will bring his determination and pace to the party. Former champion Declan Boyle is keen to get the most out of his Fiesta WRC and will have his sights set on the fight at the front. And then we have the array of R5 and Super 2000s. Former British Rally champion Keith Cronin, Alistair Fisher, the Moffat brothers, Desi Henry, Johnny Greer, Joe McGonigal. The list just goes on.
Your lucky penny helped you in Donegal last year. Will it be back this year?
Funny, I was in the car with the station today and found another lucky penny. Well, a lucky 5 cents, so it's in the car as well. So fingers crossed that might have been a sign from the gods tonight.
Gary's lucky pennies could add up to a serious amount of cash in a few years' time. One man who'll be hoping for a bit more luck than last season brought him is Declan Boyle.
There's a lot of hype about these R5s and the life frightened out of us, but sure, what can we do when you get out there and get at it? And of course we have Gary there. He's not going to be easy as usual.
Roy White returns with his Fiesta WRC and is keen to get things started.
Roy's an incredible piece of machinery on the start ramp behind you. How's the car and how are you feeling about the Galway?
I'm feeling pretty good. With a good recce over the stages, I'm looking forward to them. They're nice, tricky, technical, lots of slippy, shiny stuff in it. So no, I'm looking forward to that.
And returning to Galway, this time in the Mini WRC, is Tim McNulty. A firm favourite with the fans, Declan Gallagher steps it up a notch in the iconic Subaru.
It was always flat out in the Starlet. Is it going to be the same in this?
This is going to be a different kettle of fish, I'd say, but hopefully we can get into it fairly early on and make good use of it.
The drivers aren't just in the cars though. That's John Armstrong watching from the sidelines, for now at least. With the official business of the start ramp done and dusted, shall we plough on with some action?
Day 1 of the Galway International Rally. Now the weather isn't too hot, it's starting to rain, but it's not deterring the drivers. They're revved up and right behind me, ready to go.
Galway Races contains a different kind of horsepower this weekend as it doubles as Parc Fermé for the event. Day 1 is about to begin. Drivers briefing first, then out to the stages. High time we caught up with the contenders for this year's Irish Tarmac Championship, headed by former British champion Keith Cronin.
How much do you feel the R5 is the way forward here?
Definitely is. It's more affordable, number one. Everyone is on an equal playing field, so it just makes it more competitive, better for the spectators, better for everyone.
And it's a brand new era for the championship itself, but some strong competition out there.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the likes of Keith, the two Moffats, Johnny Greer, so you know, we all know each other pretty well. We've been in a few battles before, so it should be very interesting.
Day 1 contains 9 stages for the crews to tackle. The rain has left its mark overnight and drizzle greets the drivers first thing. Slippy will be the word of the morning. Let's get cracking then with the first stage of a brand new season. It was never in any doubt that Gary Jennings would come out all guns blazing. He has a score to settle in Galway and has got off to a great start. Fastest through on the opening 3 stages. ...2014 champion Declan Boyle makes a welcome return in his Fiesta WRC. Boyle's pace cannot be argued with, but after 3 stages he was 21 seconds short of Jennings' lead and finding it tough to keep pace.
Absolute and crest absolute 300. Watch the pothole on the brake in into the square right of the wall. That's good. 500. 500.
Roy White and James O'Brien return to Galway and are keen to learn more and get to grips with the Fiesta WRC. Tim McNulty's return to competition was sadly short-lived. His mini WRC making contact with a telegraph pole, which halted the stage and his Galway attempt. Hugely disappointing to lose him so early. The battle in the R5 category was extremely close, with small margins keeping every driver honest. Keith Cronin and Mikey Galvin got off to a great start. A number of drivers had been held up by McNulty's off, Cronin one of them. He lay 4th after 3 stages. Josh Moffat returns to the championship and is hoping to build on his progress from last year. Co-driven by Jason McKenna for this event, they lie in 11th after a difficult start to the morning. Alistair Fisher and Gordon Noble are committed to the season ahead and had a good opening run, getting to grips with the Fiesta. They found themselves in 5th position, just 1.7 seconds behind Cronin. 14 seconds adrift of Fisher in 6th was Sam Moffat and Carl Atkinson, who will no doubt deliver close fights across the season. The conditions are tough, just look at the mud in the side ruts.
Right mid over flat crest, 130. Mid over small crest, 150. 6 right, 80. Water continues. 6 right in. 200 over crest, water. 80. Line. 5 right, minus in over crest. 30 to 2 right. 130 after 2 right plus. 2 right plus and 2 left.
Stephen Wright, co-driven by James Fulton, hasn't been in a car much since last October and admitted to feeling a little rusty. They were in 9th and in a close battle with Johnny Greer and Joe McGonigal. Joe and co-driver Kieran Geeney are reunited for another season and back out in the Skoda Super 2000. Tommy Doyle was putting his Skoda Super 2000 through its paces, but the slippery road conditions caught him out, and the concrete pillar fence took out most of the car. Shame to lose him so early, but I'm sure we'll see him again this season.
Where there was just a fast right-hand corner. Tightened up and there was mud. It was through a farmyard and just the back of it stepped out, and then there was like a fast corner straight away and it just couldn't get turned in, and there was a line of concrete posts and they just sucked us in. If there was any bit of space at all it would have been fine because it wasn't that badly out of shape, but anyway, could be worse.
Returning to the Irish Tarmac Championship with Kirsty Riddick co-driving is Johnny Greer. His Citroën R5 sitting in 10th place after 3 stages. Everyone was keen to see the Skoda R5 in action, and with Desi Henry at the wheel, no one was disappointed. A morning filled with competitive times saw him sitting in 3rd place overall. In the modified category, it was not surprising to see the flying milkman Declan Gallagher at the front end of competition. He had to get to grips with a totally different beast, the Subaru S8, just a tad different from the Toyota Starlet of last season. Wesley Patterson and Johnny Baird were looking good. They were just outside of podium position as they headed to service.
And the tight favourite past gate. 80. Tight 4 left, and the 4 left past the trees. 40. Send over crest jump, and the open 2 left continues and tightens the 4 left.
Chris Armstrong and Chris Melly off to a good start in the Escort, leading their class, and were in a tough battle with Eugene Megan and Sarah Whelan in their BMW. Just 10 seconds separated them after stage 3. However, Armstrong and Melly retired early on with a broken drive shaft. Rounding out the top 5 in the modified were Tom Flaherty and Patrick Curley in the Escort, getting to grips with these difficult conditions. So here's how it stands at the Corrib Oil Galway International Rally. Gary Jennings has stamped his authority on the event after just 3 stages, with the R5 battle raging behind. Declan Gallagher sits at the top of the table for the modified.
Start of day 1 at Galway and very tricky conditions, but Gary Jennings has a phenomenal lead of 20 seconds. The question is, can anyone catch him?
Welcome back to the opening round of the Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Championship. The Corrib Oil Galway International Rally has not disappointed so far. 3 stages down and a host of battles through each class. Conditions are, at best, treacherous. Mud-strewn roads make finding grip an impossibility at times, and already a few drivers have fallen by the wayside. These guys are ready for more action, but before we get back to it, let's head to service and catch up first with our rally leader Gary Jennings, who tells us all about the conditions.
Yeah, it's very, very tricky out there. That last stage especially didn't shoot that yard at all. It was so narrow, but yeah, I'm glad to get through it.
Declan, great drive, but 20 seconds behind Gary Jennings. Are you going to catch him?
It's going to be hard work. I need to try and get a bit of confidence in the corners. Corner speed is where I have to try and get Gary. I feel that I'm going to have to take chances to be able to get closer to him.
Over in the Skoda camp, we find the man in 3rd overall, Desi Henry.
We're still adapting to the car and still trying to find our braking points, and it's tricky conditions to be learning a new car.
At the head of the field of the modified is Declan Gallagher. Quite a crowd to welcome the Subaru back in.
And how does this incredible beauty compare to the Toyota?
Oh, you can't, it's a completely different car, and it's just, you can't describe it, to be honest. There's far more grip and probably a bit more power and stuff, but no, the Starlet now is something else as well. I can't put it down,
We're glad to hear you can't put the Toyota down, Declan. Many have a soft spot for that car. An array of footwear graces the stages here in Galway, most of it highly sensible and totally waterproof. Spectators here know the drill. A Mexican wave in the Irish countryside doesn't feel out of place at a rally. As the next group of stages got underway, the weather started to worsen. Any ruts or dips were deep puddles of water. Jennings and Kennedy seemed unfazed and guided their Subaru through the debris-strewn roads, building a lead of 30 seconds over Boyle. The stop sign was clearly offending Boyle's push to catch Jennings. He said he'd have to take risks to catch him, and he was pushing hard. That push, however, would not see him complete stage 6. A 6-gear tussle with a tree putting pay to the battle. Thankfully, the crew were okay. The car, however... Roy White was gaining more confidence with the Fiesta WRC on the tricky conditions and was up into 6th after 6 stages. Keith Cronin and Mikey Galvin were really finding their feet in the R5 battle. A mix of 4 drivers, all separated by just handfuls of seconds. Leading the pack was Alistair Fisher and Gordon Noble. A great time on stage 4, putting them 7 up on Cronin. Sam Moffat found himself 5th after 6 stages, despite this slippery overshoot. Other than that, all was going well.
Water appeared to chicane right in through 3 bales, and there's gravel on it. 200 out of it. Mid over flat crest, flat 6 left, 200. 5 right.
Desi Henry was putting on a fine display while still adapting to the Skoda R5, just 0.7 of a second behind Keith Cronin after stage 6. Aaron McHale switches from Group N to a Skoda Super 2000 this season. It's a big change and one that will take a while to adapt to, especially as he's sitting on the other side of the car.
Aaron, difficult conditions out there. You're just getting used to the new car, I imagine.
Yeah, it's very slippy, and in the left-hand drive is quite a challenge to get used to it. And there's a different technique to driving the normally aspirated cars, and I'm trying to learn the left foot braking. So there's a lot to learn this weekend. So we'll see now after the next. It's grand to get over the first street.
Also changing code is Brendan Comiskey, a Fiesta R5, the car of choice. Adapting to new machinery is now the name of the game.
Yeah, well, we're close enough in times with Aaron. Like, we're a good bit off everyone else, but I suppose it's trying to get used to left-hand drive. Like, at the beginning of the last stage, Aaron went to get in the right-hand side of his car, like, you know, so it's just going to take a while, like.
Over in the modified, Declan Gallagher continued on pace, quickest by a mile on stage 4, but it would come to an abrupt end on stage 5. The car sent into a roll after hooking a rock in a ditch. It was a relief all round that the crew were okay. It was a big accident, as you can see from the car. With Declan retired, Wesley Patterson and Johnny Baird were elevated to second in the modified and were pushing to catch Eugene Megan in front. Megan held a lead of 21 seconds after 6 stages and was trying to keep as tidy as possible on the slippery stages. Third in the National was Tom Flaherty in his Escort, 17 seconds away from Patterson. In Class 20, Jason McSweeney and Stephen Quinn steered their Mitsubishi Evo into 4th overall and led their class. Conditions were getting decidedly worse, with lots of mud being pulled out from the cuts. Patrick McHugh having a lucky escape here. In Group N, David Guess and Paddy Robinson were leading their class and in a great battle. It was Mitsubishi Evo heaven, with William Maverty and Andrew Brown third in class and just 28 seconds off Guest. Finishing off the Mitsubishi sandwich in second were Gus Kearney and Tommy Hayes. The conditions were making for some impressive saves. Liam Howlett recovering from this slide, but then clipping the wall. Getting as much grip as possible in these conditions is paramount. We find out about the options available to the drivers tyre-wise.
Philip, we're here at the Galway Rally. You know, tyres are such an important part of rallying. Incredible weather here, lots of rain. Tell me what the option is for the guys here. What can they select and what can you do to the tyres to help them out when the weather does get a little bit wetter?
Basically, we've 2 compounds, and this is our intermediate pattern. What we do to improve that is we take out these sipes here, we double up on the tyre, which basically gives you an effect of this. And it basically allows the water to be dispersed a lot more readily and create a lot more heat in the tyre, which makes it a little bit safer.
Back to the action then, and in the 2-wheel drive class, Callum Devine was in charge at the front of the field in his Opel Adam.
Yeah, 6 left, 50 to a 5 left, 43 right. 5 left here now, 40 Marty, 3 right. Grab Marty now, 3 right. 50. 5 left, okay. Well done. 5 left, okay.
In the Fiesta R2, Marty Gallagher and Dino Sullivan were lying third in class, just behind the Peugeot 208 of William Crichton and Liam Regan in second. Back for another season with the R2 Fiesta is Ed Toomey and Sean Hassett. They round out the R2 competitors after 6 stages. In Class 3, Jonathan Folan and Ross Ford, competing in a Citroën DS3, were tailing frontrunners Richard and James Whelan, who escaped this slide with just a stall. In the historic section, James O'Mahony and Kerry Barry were leading up to stage 3 in their Escort. It was going really well until they slid into this field.
Sorry, Kerry.
Oh, you're all right. You're all right.
Inheriting the lead was Galway's Ray Cunningham and Adrian Cusack. Over from the UK to compete, David Goose and Richard Wardle were second at the end of day 1. The Super Porsche 911 was guided ably through the debris-filled stages by Luke McCarthy and David Hogan, third in the category. As we headed into the final stages of the day, the weather decided to play ball. A keen, biting wind replacing the rain. But it would take a lot to dry out these stages. Gary Jennings found himself with no battle around him as the only World Rally car at the front of the field. But there was no sign of him backing off at all. Keith Cronin had been trading seconds with Alistair Fisher throughout the day and held second at the end of it. After 9 stages, Fisher was only 2.4 seconds behind in third overall. Game on for a final day fight. Just mind the hay bales. In the modified, Eugene Megan was the day 1 leader after a determined drive, but he was well aware of the charge behind from Wesley Patterson, who'd been putting on the pressure all afternoon. Just 1.8 seconds separated them.
Wesley, it's been a fabulous day for the Galway International on day 1. Great battle between yourself and Eugene.
Yeah, I lost Chris earlier on, which was a bit disappointing, but of course just run over the first few stages. We've got it going better in the afternoon, so alternator failed in the last loop, so we got that changed. So 1 point something seconds to get out in the morning, so good shape.
We had a decent run on the first 2 loops, and on the last loop we had a problem with the front tyres were actually going off, and we dropped a lot of time to Wesley. But we took a little bit back on the last one, so yeah, it's all to play for tomorrow.
Keith, what an opening day we've had at the Galway International Rally. The R5s have been on massive competitive form. You're up there in podium position. How are you feeling at the end of it?
Yeah, I feel good. It's been a tough day. I've had a very big battle with Alistair. Number 3 and 4 aren't far behind either. So 1 mistake, and yeah, it'll put us right down the order.
Confirmation of the day 1 results here at the Corriboyle Galway International Rally. Join us after the break as the epic fight for podium positions continues here in Galway.
Gary Jennings has been the dominant force here at the Galway International Rally on day 1, but the real story has been the close battle between the R5s.
Welcome to day 2 of the Corriboyle Galway International Rally. The crew's awake to calmer skies. Gone is the rain of the opening day, and Sunday morning is quiet and still. Until Parc Fermé opens at least. Day 1 of the 2016 season of the Irish Tarmac Championship was filled with battles, drama and some disappointments. Leading the way out front is Gary Jennings.
Day 2 of the Galway International Rally, and Gary Jennings has a comfortable lead. All he's got to do is keep it on the road. But behind him, in the R5 category, it's all to play for.
As Siobhan says, the R5 battle behind is epic. Kicking off the championship fight in second overall is Keith Cronin, who is closely matched with Alistair Fisher, the pair trading seconds across the stages. Desi Henry also had a strong day 1 and is just 14 seconds behind Podium.
Well, Bex, day 2 of the Galway International Rally, a lot of surprises.
A lot of surprises yesterday, I think. You know, the battle in the R5 category was by far the most exciting thing of the whole day. Alistair Fisher, Keith Cronin, all within the mix. They're up in second and third position right now. Gary Jennings way out in front of the WRC car. I think yesterday that was really the story, the R5s. And today we're going to see that close battle continue. And not just between those two, there's a whole lot of them. And that's really exciting for the spectators to see.
The drivers prepare for the opening stage of the day. Conditions are better, but more rain is forecast for later.
Gary, day 2, different weather conditions.
Yeah, a bit different today. Very easy to lose concentration, so we're still going to have to go 8 or 9, 10, so we're going to enjoy it.
Keith Cronin and Mikey Galvin sit in second as we start the day. Fisher isn't too far behind though.
It's going to be tricky for sure. The conditions are tricky. It'll be very easy to get caught out, but try and keep the same momentum as yesterday and just keep it neat and tidy and hopefully.
Great battle between yourself and Alistair now.
Yeah, there's nothing between us, so it'll be a tough day.
Full-on battle out there today. How much are you going to push it?
And this is a very difficult stage, so I think everybody might take a wee bit of caution in here, but at the same time we still have to push on.
After a good start yesterday, what would we see from Desi Henry today?
We're going to give it a wee push this morning and see what way it goes, but at the minute we'll probably be happy with third place points.
We have a bit of a race now again, Desi, to try and catch him, and we're going to try and go for that.
Seems like we're going to have a big fight on our hands out there today. Let's take a look at where the action will be happening. 6 stages make up the second and final day here at the Galway International Rally. It's a chilly start, and despite no rain, the stages are still highly slippy, especially the Black Road, which kicks us off. With a big lead, he could afford to take things easier, but that's when mistakes can creep in. A stall on a junction early on, persuading him that he had to keep pushing. Just 2.7 seconds separated Cronin in second and Fisher in third. Keith got off to a good start, faster than Fisher on the opening stage. With Cronin setting out his stall for the day, what could Fisher do out there? The first stage of the morning didn't go quite so well, with a spin dropping them precious seconds. But they bounced back in stage 11, quicker than Cronin, with 6.2 seconds separating them. Also on a push was Desi Henry, keen to get back into podium contention. Impressive at speed, but not looking quite so good off the road. Desi explains what happened.
We just come round a slippy 5 right and just got caught out by shiny tar and hit the back wheel and spun down the road. So unfortunately we've damaged the front 2 wheels, so unfortunately we can go no further.
And that is a real shame, as Desi had put on a fine display during the weekend. Sam Moffat had certainly had a very good breakfast. He set the fastest time overall through stage 11 and moved into 4th position, but that wasn't without its moments.
5 right B in late and 6 right A in over crest and 6 left 80 over finish. Oh. Finish crazy. 100, that's it.
Roy White was gaining in confidence as the weekend continued and posting improving times. He lay in 6th overall. Josh Moffat was back in 7th position and had dropped a chunk of time, around about 10 seconds, after an earlier spin. The Citroen R5 of Johnny Greer and Kirsty Riddick was in 8th position, and they were in a good battle with Joe McGonigal. who was on a massive charge during Sunday morning, taking precious seconds out of Johnny Greer in front. McGonigal was on a mission. Stephen Wright was in 10th overall, 4.1 seconds adrift of Joe McGonigal. Continuing to adapt to a change of car was Aaron McHale and Enda Sherry. They were back in 12th after as many stages, and in their regular battle with Brendan Comiskey, who is also adapting to new machinery with a Fiesta R5. The Welsh crew of Thomas and Eurig Davis were keen to get to know their Fiesta. They were back under Rally 2 after suspension issues on the opening day. In the ravishing red Fiesta R5, Joe and Richard Connolly were sitting 19th after 12 stages. In the modified category, the battle at the front was mesmerising. Wesley Patterson moved into the lead on the opening stage, but then dropped back to second when Eugene Megan set the fastest time on stage 11.
Flat 3 rate, maybe carry on it if you can. Towards the 500. Shakian, great entry, 3 wheels.
They were trading seconds and fighting in the toughest conditions. Sadly for Megan, he clipped a bank and damaged his steering on the 3rd stage of the day and ultimately retired. Powering his Ford Escort around the stages was Tom Flaherty, 3rd in the modified. Patrick McHugh and Porrick O'Donnell were 5th overall in the modified and leading Class 13. Andrew Fanning and Andy Hayes in the Fiesta were 2nd in class and 7th overall after 12 stages, with Jason McSweeney and Stephen Quinn leading the class and 3rd overall. The Mark II Escort of Ross Marshall and Dave Robson was 2nd in Class 13. The second day of the event kickstarts the junior category. After the opening 2 stages, Kieran O'Donoghue and Peter Falvey were leading, but it was a tight battle with Mark Murphy and Michael Hamilton, who were only 9.1 seconds behind. Justin Ryan and Andy Walsh were 3rd in the junior category. At the front in the historics was the Mini Cooper S of Ray Cunningham and Adrian Cusack, building up a good lead over their rivals.
I'm loving your car. What's the reaction been like to it?
Yeah, it's great. It'll be interesting to see where it's going out in the morning now in among a bunch of all modern stuff. I think it's great to be seated through the main field because, yeah, everybody goes, Mini, sure, they're not too fast, but we'll see in the morning, like a lot of people are going, what's your man doing? Where's he going? But sure, that's half the appeal of it. It's great fun.
Back at service, it's time for the cars and spectators to refuel. Clonakilty Black Pudding are again title sponsors this season. Ed Toomey tells us why it's so important to the company.
Clonakilty back on board for the Tarmac Championship. Is there an excitement within the brand?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, it's a very exciting year for the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship, and you know, hopefully it can go from strength to strength. I think the entry today, this weekend, has proved that already. You know.
And here's how it stands in the international and national after 13 stages.
Here at the Galway International Rally, tricky weather conditions have caught out many of the top drivers. Stay with us, we'll be back with more action after the break. As we come into the closing stages of the Galway International Rally, there are still many positions to fight for in each class. It's not over yet.
It certainly isn't over yet. With the conditions proving massively challenging, the final group of stages would be a real test for the drivers. The organisers of the event have battled against the weather. Huge respect must be paid to those who volunteer their time on the stages to make sure everyone is safe. So with the regulation changing for the championship this season, has it been a success? We ask respected motorsport journalist John Kenny.
John, we're here at the Galway International Rally and it's a brand new era for the Irish Tarmac Championship, the switch to the R5 category. Already we're seeing competition is fierce. What do you think, with your wealth of motorsport knowledge here in Ireland, it's a good way to go?
I think so. It's a gamble by the organisers, and we've had the World Rally cars for the last 2 decades, and they've been a great service to Irish motorsport, and we've seen some great drivers coming out of that. But I think it is time to move on. We have to think about the future and the younger drivers. They're cheaper cars. It's easier to get the parts for them as well. They look well. It's a great spectacle. This weekend has kind of proven that we do have some of the best drivers in these R5s.
Let's get back to the action and check out the class winners for the opening round of the Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Championship. In the two-wheel drive class, Ed Toomey and Sean Hassett take 5th. A few spins and overshoots kept them on their toes in Galway. Spins and slippery conditions are par for the course, as Andrew Slattery and Sean Ford find out on their way to 4th in class. Taking away 3rd in two-wheel drive was William Crichton and Liam Regan. 2nd were Marty Gallagher and Dean Sullivan in their Fiesta R2.
4 right, open, slippy, crest 40, caution, square right, shiny, square,
And winning the class by a country mile was Callum Devine and Keith Moriarty in their Opel Adam.
Callum, congratulations on winning the R2 category, but it was seriously tough out there.
Yeah, it was tough conditions all weekend. From mud from the first day until today, it was just pure shiny tire all day, so it was. So tough and good to get to end it.
Taking the Class 3 win, Richard and James Whelan in the Citroën DS3 R3. In Class 4, Group N, it was a dominant win from David Guest and Paddy Robinson, a great start to their season. Declan Ford and Chris King take the Class 10 win in their Escort. And in Class 11F, John O'Sullivan and Owen McCarthy sealed the deal in their Honda Civic. Frank Rafferty and Warren Tye guided their Chrysler Sunbeam to success in Class 11R. Father and son Tommy and Keith Flanagan battled against gearbox issues on day 1 and take the Class 12 win. And they kept things well under control during this mega moment.
And turn square right 40. Up, come up. Good. Easy. Okay.
A minor off and some anti-lag issues didn't stop Tom Carhill from sealing the Class 15 win, with Enda O'Leary alongside. Des Lyons and Shay Laheen are winners in Class 17. And in the junior category, Mark O'Leary and Kieran Grahl took away 3rd position from the opening round here in Galway. Mark Murphy and Michael Hamilton kept it close at the front, taking away 2nd and under 5 seconds off the win, which was claimed by Kieran O'Donoghue and Peter Falvey. Justin Ryan and Andy Walsh take away 4th in the junior category and are the leading registered crew.
We're coming home 4th in the juniors, but top registered crew, it's great, unbelievable event. The conditions are something fierce, but we're here, that's the main thing, we're happy,
Fierce is definitely a great word to describe the conditions. In the historic, Luke McCarthy and David Hogan take away 3rd position in the Porsche 911, finishing just 16 seconds behind the Ford Escort of David Goose and Richard Wardle, who take maximum points from the championship in 2nd. Ray Cunningham and Adrian Cusack take a well-deserved victory after putting on a fine display this weekend in their Mini Cooper. Before we run down the modified and international winners, let's take a look at some of the Galway Clubman drivers from the weekend. name Bertie Fisher is synonymous with Irish rallying. The four-time Irish Tarmac champion inspired a generation with his impeccable skills. A new book which celebrates the life and career of Bertie will be launched this year. His name, of course, is continued on in nephew Alistair Fisher. Kieran McAnallen tells us all about the book.
Well, the book's been launched on the 4th of March at a special function in the Armagh City Hotel. It's completely sold out. It has been an absolute honour to be involved in it. The book will be officially launched that night. Nobody has seen it yet, nor will they see it till the 4th of March.
You were best friends, of course, with the late great Bertie back in the day.
Well, Bertie was unique. There'll be nobody will ever replace Bertie Fisher as a friend of mine. He was just something else. In every way, business, social, rallying, sponsorship, you name it. He was a hero.
Well, as a hero to many, do you think you can replicate any of what Bertie did over the years?
I think it'll be very hard. He has a lot of Tarmac wins under his belt and some great success over the years. I'm just happy to be out in the stages. It's nice to keep the Fisher name out there and I'll do my best.
Now it's time to turn our attention to the top 5 in the modified. Claiming 5th overall, Andrew Fanning and Andy Hayes. Patrick McHugh and Porrick O'Donnell take 4th. With Jason McSweeney and Stephen Quinn on the podium in 3rd. Tom Flaherty and Patrick Curley walk away with 2nd overall. And taking the win after a great fight at the front this weekend, Wesley Patterson and Johnny Baird.
Wesley, fantastic win, great battle between yourself and Eugene all weekend. How are you feeling?
Relieved. Got out in that last loop there, it was very tight, and I knew something was going to break between one of the two of us because I was just about able to keep the car on the road. So unfortunately Eugene put it off and it gave us a bit of an easy finish, but one tough rally.
In the international category, Roy White and James O'Brien in the Fiesta WRC take 5th overall, building confidence and pace throughout the weekend. Sam Moffat and Carl Atkinson showed blistering pace at times and walk away with 4th overall and 3rd in the championship.
Sam, 3rd overall in the championship, fantastic. How did you feel the weekend went?
Enjoy racing the R5s, there's good battle in there. There was 6 or 7 people at the start of the day. Had a close race with Desi Henry this morning. Unfortunately, he went off on one of the stages, but thankfully everyone's okay and really looking forward to the next round.
Alistair Fisher and Gordon Noble battled bravely all weekend. 3rd overall and points for 2nd in the championship.
Alistair, congratulations, 2nd in the R5 category. I mean, you must be absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, we're very pleased with the result. It's been a tough weekend. It's my first event in almost 12 months, so it's nice to get back into the car and get onto a good pace and get a clean rally under our belts.
Pushing their R5 to the max this weekend was Keith Cronin and Mikey Galvin. It has been a closely contested fight throughout the event. Maximum championship points, and they now lead the series.
Keith Cronin, congratulations, you are now leading the championship. It must be a brilliant feeling.
Yeah, it was a great feeling. It was a tough event. The competition was really tough. The event itself, the conditions were really tricky, but we held it together and we got the result we came for.
Gary Jennings started out searching for the win. He set incredible pace all weekend and led from the opening stage in tough conditions. He and Rory Kennedy walk away with the ultimate prize, a win here at the Corriboyle Galway International Rally.
Gary Jennings, what a win. First time in Galway, it must be an awesome feeling.
Yeah, it's great. I think we've had bad luck over this last 2 years, so it's great to come this weekend and lead from the very start to finish. It's been very, very testing rally.
Confirmation of the result this weekend with Gary Jennings taking the win. In the championship, Keith Cronin leads over Alistair Fisher with Sam Moffat in 3rd.
Round round one of the Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Championship, and Gary Jennings has won in Galway for the very first time. We're delighted for him. But the real story of the event has been the R5s. Keith Cronin now leads the championship, but it was tough from the get-go. We'll see you next time in West Cork.